Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings and welcome back to the next episode about Chase Hughes's behavioral table of elements. Today is chin thrust. Right off the bat, before I get with that, it's located on row A as in alpha, column 18. Right off the bat, when you're looking at this one is different. If I'm not mistaken, we haven't had an element card that is specifically in the gray color scheme. Gray represents deceptive stress. It's the final column. In the normal table of elements on the periodic table, the final the final column is the noble gases. Your xenons, your kryptons, and neons, and the things that have the 8 electrons in their outer orbit, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be. It's been decades since I took the classes in you know quantum numbers, Avogadro numbers. After I had to do that for the class, I never came back to them. But without getting too caught up in nostalgia, this is a very busy card. Besides the fact that it represents deceptive stress, or deceptive slash stress. It's got the variable factor in the upper right corner at the 1 o'clock position of a 2. Underneath it, it has the unique distinction of being a dual regional card, Ukraine and Asia. Now, Ukraine has been in the news for the last 10 years. Asia, of course, is a general term for the continent. Underneath that is a 1 rating for universal and a 2 rating for man, masculine. All right. We're going to cut over to the map here in a moment, and I've put together a 6-second video clip demonstrating it. And for those of you who were born anytime after the 80s, that's Hogan's Heroes star, Bob Crane, who met an unfortunate end. That was from one of the episodes where he's having an encounter with a woman colonel Gestapo officer, and the episode has Sergeant Schultz, you know, being touted as a genius, being able to foresee the Allied bombing runs, and so she comes to investigate, and she does her poking the bear thing to try to find out whether or not there's something genuine to Sergeant Schultz's ability that I believe Major Hofstetter, the other Gestapo officer, and Colonel Klink are touting. But of course, keeping with the theme of Hogan's Heroes, it's him and his team who are orchestrating things. And he knows that she is aware of it, hence the chin thrust. All right, so this is the color key. Keep this in mind as we go over it, because deceptive if mixed is going to relate with the color of the abbreviations. And in at least one or two, two of them are the 7 universal micro expressions that are going to be the facial expressions, as well as the color yellow for high stress. So this one is very unique in the sense that we're all across the color keyboard here. High stress, deceptive slash stress, facial expression, deceptive if mixed. And here it is. Here is our map with the chin thrust, of course, upper off center, First off is the conflicting behavior, and that is toes up. AGG is the abbreviation for toes up, which represents an open body language. Underneath that is ventilation for stress. Now, with the other cards, as you can see in the left column for the confirming gesture and amplifying gesture, the conflicting behavior doesn't have a comma. So I'm not certain what the significance of having ventilation underneath it represents. I don't know if it was sloppy on, on the editing side for the Ellipsis behavioral team, or if it's meant to signify something different. Because if we look at the normal element card, they're the key. It just demonstrates whether it's an open body gesture, where whether there's a conflicting behavior, and whether where it's at on the body. The best I can figure is because it is an open gesture, toes up is in that space, and the conflicting behavior is also ventilation, which is a stress response, as we saw with the color key card. High stress, yellow, and we've got two of them on here. Let's see. And of course, chin thrust is the head, as you saw with Bob Crane, Colonel Hogan putting his chin out there. It's a deception rating of 4, which means you don't need anything really more than what one or two of these is going to put you into the deceptive category. When it's being done during an answer, then that's its the deception time frame. All right. So the microphysiological expression is the jaw clench. So you're clenching your jaw as you're jutting it out. The amplifying gestures are anger and elbow close. So you're pulling in your elbows to protect your torso just beneath the rib cage or even the rib cage. And you're waiting for a retaliatory physical strike. And we already covered anger in the previous videos. And also, I believe elbow close has been covered, as well as the confirming gestures of contempt and digit flex. And that of contempt, if you remember correctly, is kind of like the one half of the mouth having that upturned lip. It's a one-sided expression. And digital flex is just the fingers. That's why it's listed there as hands. All right, so chin thrust is contempt and anger, digital flex, elbow close, jaw clench, and it's a likelihood of a 4 on the digital or deceptive rating scale, and it's during an answer. So as you're speaking it, you're jutting your chin out there, locking your jaw in place, and all of these are physiological responses to impending combat. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Take notes on all of this and put it into practice as you're observing and interacting and demonstrating the various levels of body language interpretation out there. Good luck.